Beginning of the end times, Tomb Kings, Ogre Kingdoms, and Dwarfs free-for-all, and you know things are going bad for you when you're losing your expensive monsters 5 seconds into the replay. I'm playing Tomb Kings this game. Pretty solid faction overall. Immune to psychology, cause fear, always a very potent combination. But too bad some unseen force right now is flattening all my monster units. Necropolis Knight's about to take a big shot. Another giant scorpion goes down, and all of my monsters are getting killed before I even enter combat. Some Ushabti up front. Those are the shock troops of the Tomb Kings. Amazing units in this mod. Really good frontline force, tanky, great charge bonus, a lot of HP. They're pretty awesome. Skeleton Warriors and Holy Sons up front, making up my spaghetti line meat shields, and I am just under fire. Tomb Guard right here, under fire from so much artillery from the Dwarfs and from the Ogre Kingdoms right now. Get a better look at the Ushabti right there. Some more Necropolis Knights in the back. I've got Cetra's Chariot, a couple of Tomb Kings chariots, and as soon as the battle started, I saw how much fire I was under, on a lot of pressure right now. Noblars and the Ogre Kingdoms moving up now. A lot of really tanky troops to deal with. I can deal with the front line very easily for the Ogre Kingdoms. Just take out these Noblars, get them off the field with a good charge from the Ushabti and from the Arabi elephants. But those ogres themselves are going to be very tanky, very difficult to cut through. So in the back, what has been causing me this much pain so early in the battle? Leadbelchers. And yes, the mod creators do know that these units are broken right now. They're a unit of 20. They actually fire cannons from the hip. You can imagine the kind of devastation they can wreak amongst enemy armies. So yeah, they're going to be an issue this battle for sure. They're going to be doing a lot of killing, and you can see the devastation just getting cut through the center of my formation. But that's alright, because Tomb Kings do cause fear, and Noblars have real crappy morale, so a good charge from the Ushabti should send those meat shields running, and then I can get into the meat of the Ogre Kingdom's army and start killing them. I got some Tomb Chariots moving around the flanks, just wanted to tie down those Leadbelchers as soon as possible. Don't think the Chariots will be able to kill them, but maybe tie them down, keep them from firing, and I've got my elephants into a nice flanking position. Meanwhile, the Dwarfs are just kind of sitting over there, getting ready to move up, and I'm still under a lot of artillery fire from organ guns and mortars. Right flank, my Necropolis Knights are tied down with some Wolf Riders. Should be able to cut through them relatively easily. But yeah, the Ushabti and the Ogres in general are going to be fighting it out here. Skeletons not going to be doing great, but of course they're going to fight to the last man. There's no such thing as routing for the Tomb King's army, and I don't have to worry about Necromancers keeping my guys in the fight like I would in Total War Warhammer. And yeah, some massive fighting going on here. Good flanking charge from the elephant. Going to get through some mercenary hobgoblins. Doing a lot of damage here. You can see the wavering is definitely kicking in to the Ogre Kingdom's army right now, but he is about to send in his trump cards, the Mournfang Cavalry. Really cool unit, devastating. Not a lot of guys in that unit, but their charge is massive, and they will wreck you in hand-to-hand combat. So Mournfang's definitely going to be something I have to worry about, and I've already lost a lot of my monsters. Look at that balance bar. We're barely in this replay, and it says I have no chance of winning this game, which is probably true considering how much damage I took from those artillery strikes at the beginning. But yeah, doing a lot of damage into melee here. Ushabti doing quite well. Elephants did okay. Caused some routing, some panic on the Ogre Kingdom's line. I've actually managed to rout a couple of units of full-strength Ogres. They are going to come back to the fight, but just being able to get them off the field for a little bit while I kill the less important troops is actually pretty important. Did get his Mournfang Cavalry into my Ushabti. That is not going to be an easy fight for the Ushabti as well at all, especially with Leadbelchers shooting in. Look at how fast their fire rate is, and you look at it and it's got 20 men in a unit. Just think about how much devastation 20 cannons can wreak on an army. They are crazy. They are a little bit bugged. You see them whenever they enter melee combat, they kind of spin around in a circle. Their animation's not quite finished yet, and they're going to get rebalanced. Look at that. Look at those shots. Oh, it's crazy. All right, so Irondrakes have moved up now. Dwarfs are getting into range here, and those flamethrowers are going to cause me a lot of pain, and the Ogre Kingdom's a lot of pain as well. Huge volley here from the Irondrakes shooting in, doing a lot of damage to my Ushabti, and those are my most important units on the field. They are even better than my monsters. I need to get them into melee and shut down those Irondrakes before they do too much more damage to my Ushabti. I do have Cetra's Chariot shooting in, just killed 6 Irondrakes, nice little shot right there, and the Ushabti going to charge in and start killing Tom Doof's Irondrakes. So they are going to die very quickly. That charge is going to just obliterate them. Look at that. Seconds. In just a couple of seconds. Going to kick them over and just stab them in the chest. Yep, you're dead, little dwarf. And I'm going to try to tie down the rest of these units. So there are some Longbeards moving up now. I believe some Ironbreakers as well. And flame cannons and organ guns have a really nice position to fire in. Thunders as well. Really good line of sight to start shooting into our already engaged troops. Slayers. I believe the dwarf general is in that unit. Moving up now. Lots of artillery strikes going off. Mournfang Cavalry deep into combat with my Tomb Guard. They've got no chance of winning that engagement, and my main line has just crumbled at this point. I'm completely surrounded over here by dwarfs, Longbeards on both sides, completely surrounding some of my most elite troops. And look at that, holy, that shot from the Leadbelchers. And I've got Irondrakes and flame cannons shooting in, killing my men. I've got pretty much nothing left on the field at this point, like in the balance bar. Just a sliver of hope left. We're going to see what I can keep alive till the end of the battle. But yeah, I'm getting shredded by artillery and flame right now. So I do have Cetra's Chariot over here. This is not a particularly good unit. It's 3,000 talents, and the shot that it does, it's reminiscent of the magic in Call of Warhammer, but it really doesn't do that much damage. It doesn't quite do the same damage output as some of the other mages, so it's going to shoot in here. It's going to get a couple of kills, but really it's not worth the cost, and then I'm going to get shot by some Thunders, and poor Cetra the Imperishable is going to perish there. So RIP, good sir. Thunder's got a nice shot in there, kill my general, and yeah, my army's dead. But we're gonna see the Dwarfs and the Ogre Kingdoms slog it out here. So I believe he still has some Leadbelchers left. He does have a lot of Mournfang Cavalry left, and by a lot, I mean he only has, I think, 24 men on the field. I think they only have 12 in a unit, but they are very deadly, of course. Multiple HP, very tanky, and as you'd expect, really big charge bonus. So Slayers in combat with some of the Ogres, and now we got some mighty Throgs, Hobgoblins moving up now, some more Mournfangs, and they're going to be trying to close the gap. Now, the Dwarves have the exact kind of army you want to deal with high HP units. Thunderers and artillery are really good. Basically, any kind of gunpowder unit is what you need to take down multiple HP units in Call of Warhammer. The reason that the Demon Prince and the Great Unclean Ones and stuff are so ridiculous to deal with in Call of Warhammer is that they're kind of hard to hit with melee weapons, and they have a lot of HP. So one of the best ways to deal with that is just shoot them with a bunch of gunpowder units. Now there is one more little unfinished thing here. The Mournfang General, the Ogre Kingdom General, is actually just a Skaven model right now that's kind of silver. That's kind of just a little bug in the game. They're going to get that fixed as well. Again, this mod still is in beta, so there are still some things that they're working on here. Lots of Irondrake shots pouring in. Oh, look at that. Oh, dude's getting set on fire. Greenies everywhere, burning up to a crisp. And that is not what Gojira wants. He's playing as the Ogre Kingdoms. Tom Doof is definitely taking a commanding lead in this free-for-all. Lots of shots pouring in, lots of artillery going off right now. The only chance that Gojira is going to have here with the Ogre Kingdoms is getting his Mournfangs into some important targets. This will help as well. Get the Ogres in there and just wreck those Irondrakes. Get them off the field. You do not want those shooting into your Ogres at all. They're going to die pretty fast there. Organ guns, though, shooting in, and those will make short work of Ogres, so he's got to make sure that he gets those Mournfangs into combat quickly and silence those guns. If he doesn't, he's going to be losing way too many men way too quickly. So honestly, if I was Gojira at this point, I'd be pulling all of my Ogres out of melee combat or pulling them through to get at those artillery crews and get at those Thunderers. Those Thunderers shooting in are going to cause so much damage to his line, and he really has no reason to stay in melee combat with the Dwarfs, because once he pulls out, he can kill the crews, he can kill the Thunderers, and then start getting charges in. He has the right idea here. He's going to get into some of the Thunderers and kill them, and actually the Slayer General is going to go down, so that's a pretty big deal. Dwarfs don't have massive morale penalties in this game, but you still don't want to be losing your gen. But he is leaving his guys in melee with the Longbeards for too long, I think. He could have easily pulled through here and gotten at the more important units. You got to kill the Thunderers, especially if you only have high HP units remaining on the field. Longbeards aren't a threat, but the Dwarf artillery crews and the Thunderers definitely are. So just a handful of Mournfangs have made it into combat. They should have no problem taking out those artillery crews, although it will be a little bit before those go down. because there are only 3 Mournfangs left, and Organ Guns are lining up for a good shot here, and they could cause so much damage to this Ogre Kingdom line if they manage to shoot in. There will probably be some friendly fire if that happens, but yeah, Ogre's charging into the Flame Cannon crew now. I haven't seen that go off too many times this battle. We'll see if he can get a couple, but ooh, nice little shot right there. For the craft world kicking in right now, my favorite theme from Dawn of War 2. Don't think the Dawi are too fond of this song, but it is epic, and those organ gun shots are going to send the Ogres running for the hills, and Mournfangs have not been able to cut through those gun crews in the back yet. It is not good, and yeah, those organ guns are going to start that shot right there. Another Ogre going to go down to some organ gun shots. Mournfang still in combat, but they are not going to be able to do enough damage, I don't think. Flame Cannon's lining up for a shot. Oh, look at that. They're just slicing through the Hobgoblins. Dwarfs love the smell of napalm in the morning. Glorious shots right there. And that is going to send those Hobgoblins running for the hills. So there's almost nothing left for the Ogre Kingdoms at this point. There are going to be a couple of units here and there trying to cause some more damage. But Dwarfs have definitely taken a very commanding lead in this battle. Slayers slicing through some Noblars there in the back, and the Goblin Netters are actually going to start throwing stuff in. Now, they are a very interesting unit. They kind of just hinder movement. They will knock over enemies when their nets land, but they don't really do any damage. So, limited usefulness, but it's kind of a cool idea. And organ guns are probably going to seal the deal here. Shoot into the remaining units that are there in the back. Flame Cannon's moving up. Thunder is moving up. And it was just very, very nice positioning from the Dwarfs. Nice line of sight, the entire battlefield to just shoot artillery, shoot gunpowder units straight into the middle of our engagement. And honestly, it's just kind of nice to see Dwarfs actually win a replay here. They're so severely gimped in Call of Warhammer because of their lack of mobility that they really just don't function very well in 1v1 situations unless they stake box. And stake box replays are usually pretty boring to watch unless the player who's boxing is just getting ripped apart by major artillery fire. So with that said, it's still a well-deserved victory from Tom Doof here. He had really good use of artillery and Irondrakes and Thunders to neutralize the biggest threats on the field. And yes, I mean, free-for-alls are kind of silly in that usually one person's going to sit back and let the other two duke it out. But from a pure action standpoint, I think this battle was definitely worth sharing. General's going to go down there, and hell, you're getting a good look at the Tomb Kings and Ogre Kingdoms in action, so it's not all bad. And it wasn't the best look at the Tomb Kings. I'll be showing their roster more in depth later on, but this one definitely had that Warhammer ridiculousness we all love. And I'm sure some of you guys have some tabletop stories where you lost your most important units in the first shooting phase or something like that, equally crazy like what happened to me this battle. Lost my elephant so early on, and if you have stories like that, please share them. I'd love to hear them. Hope you guys enjoyed. Talk to you all later. Indy Pride signing out.